Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another podcast. Today, I'm joined by Max. It's lovely to see you.
Good to see you, mate.
So, Max, just tell us a bit about yourself. Give us your name, your position at IDA, your age, and what you do at IDA here.
So my name's Max Hunt. I'm 26 and I'm coming in as head of S&C and a few different roles actually to support one of the football teams as an assistant coach, with obviously my experience as a player as well to help that. And also I've got a qualification in sports massage therapy, so something that I can help out with as well.
So yeah, you just mentioned that you're helping the players because you also play the game, and I know that you still play now. So could you just tell us a bit about that? Last season, how it went, the ups and lows, and just football in general, like what got you into it, where are you now, and why do you love the game so much?
Yeah, so I think it's something that I've played since I was old enough to remember. Like a lot of kids do, my parents gave me the interest of it, and I never looked back really. Played Sunday League growing up, academy football, and actually came through a very similar setup to this, which I think is why I've got quite a passion for this project. Is because I came through a non-league setup with a college and a football system, and gave me the opportunity to go and play professionally at Derby when I was just turning 18. So I think I can really link myself to the lads going through these processes that they are, and hopefully help them. So yeah, currently play at Alfreton Town semi-professionally. So yeah, last season was good. Look, I mean, it's for me, it's just about playing as many games and still enjoying it while I can, and being able to take what I do on the pitch and help the lads here.
Okay. So with the experience that you've gained, like you saying that you were in a setup similar to this, how were you able to adjust the things that you do in S&C, like the programs that you make? Like how do you take your player experiences and use them to better your performance as a staff member in this system?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question, because I remember the first time I went on trial at Derby County when I was just I was probably back end of 17, just before I turned 18. And for me, one of the reasons I wanted to get into S&C and the off the field kind of stuff is because I'd never experienced anything like that. I'd never experienced the gym side, the performance, the pre-activation, the stuff that it takes in the pro game, which I didn't realise. So stepping into that environment when I was on trial, it was so eye-opening for me, because I was worlds apart from where I needed to be. So for me, in this process now, if I can help these lads and ladies, that a lot of them are going to have aspirations to go and play higher, and eventually hopefully some get into the professional game, if I can give them the tools and prepare their bodies to know what it takes for the next level, then that's really good for me.
So talking through that, have you started creating plans or giving out plans to the boys that are here or the girls that are here or not here? So some of them are obviously in America and all over the world. Have you been in contact with them, trying to sort them out for pre-season?
Yeah, so everyone received a tailored 6-week plan for 2 different variations. One, a conditioning side, aiming at like 3 sessions a week for strength, power, to just build up that base for when they come back. And then the second one, more running-based stuff, again 3 times a week, looking at varying the load, building them up. Obviously, we want to build and get that hypertrophy in during the off-season, do you know what I mean? Get that load and that volume in the legs before we have to start tailoring it down before they come back in, and then we'll have a deload week. So when they come back in, everyone comes back in September, hopefully everyone's got a good base fitness. That we're not wanting people to be at their maximum fitness, because then there'd be no room for improvement, but we want people at a base where myself, Nicky, Billy, Jack, everyone can work with the players and get them to where we want to be.
So do you think that organisation of knowing what's next and telling those players what's next is good for them and also for you guys?
Yeah, massively. I think planning, organisation, again, thinking back to myself as a player, I think you respond well to knowing plans, structures and routines, and it gives you some accountability to know that you've got to get that work in, and that if them guys follow the schedule that's set, then they should be in a good position when they come back. And
obviously it is just strength and conditioning, but do you get involved in the side of maybe nutrition and stuff?
Yeah, of course. I'm always there to lend a hand if they need anything like that. I've had quite a few people ask me different sort of questions. I think with S&C it kind of covers a broad topic. I think people lean on you quite a lot for injuries, for gym stuff, for food, for nutrition, for lifestyle. I think it covers a very wide subject. So yeah, I'd like to think that I'm really able to help them in terms of all aspects.
So you talk about how you've tailored the sessions and you've tailored it to the player. Is the positioning of that player also within that tailoring?
In some senses, typically in pre-season it'd be more a generic session, be more different volumes in terms of high intensity running, long distance running, intervals, sprint work, all that sort of stuff is important to get in the legs. As we come back into a more specific environment and all the lads and ladies are in on site, then we can sort of look to see what different positions need specific things.
Nah, that's lovely. So Max, you were with us in the back end of the season. So I just want a little rundown. How do you feel that how was it meeting the lads? Was it an environment that you thought, I'd love to stay in? Like, what actually drew you to stay that extended period?
Yeah, I think obviously I've mentioned that I came through something similar to this when I was younger, and I think it was similar in some respects, but this is worlds apart because the facilities and the opportunity that the players get in this company is, it's second to none. The facilities, the coaching, the detail that goes into everything, I think it's just a great platform for people to succeed. And for me personally, coming in, and I've said this to Billy and Trav and all what a great group of lads you guys were last season to work with. It was a pleasure to come in and work with such a group of honest individuals that really want to learn. And I think for me as an S&C coach, because everyone can play football, everyone here wants to play football and enjoys playing the football, the gym side is sometimes a bit more difficult for people to ease into, trust, to build up that confidence. But if you've got that base of wanting to work hard and willing to learn, then there's no way you can't really succeed.
So I'm just going to say it first. Clearly, when you joined, the level and standards of S&C sessions in general just skyrocketed. Of course, we were trying our best. We had the coaches do the sessions, but then they're obviously busy running off doing other things. So Bill would tell us what to do. But then if we wanted to move and explain, he'd have to rush off, this and that. So you coming into the group, genuinely, at the back end of the season, people were like, these sessions are serious. And it actually had a sense of buzz around S&C. So we really thank you for that. We're really grateful.
Appreciate it.
But genuinely, how important do you think that side of football is? Because I feel like a lot of footballers think that their ability alone can get them, but they don't realize how much the gym can unlock the potential they don't really have.
Definitely. I think there's so many different aspects to gym, whether it's injury prevention. I mean, the biggest ability is availability, do you know what I mean? And especially if a lot of these lads are wanting to step into non-league football and professional football, etc., you've got to be available week in, week out, 40, 50 games a season. So the gym can unlock things like that. It can unlock your robustness, your ability to keep yourself fit. But I think also you're never going to meet the full rounded player. People can always get quicker, can always get faster, can always get stronger, more powerful, jump higher, jump further. So I think for me it's about working with them on the pitch, because that's the part that I'm really looking forward to as well, but also seeing what their needs are and how we can develop it in here to replicate onto the pitch.
So obviously we want to get the players to a very high standard when they're here, but how do you kind of train them to a point where you're not overtraining them or not causing any injuries, and what do you do for kind of like injury prevention when they're here? Yeah,
I think it's really important to manage the load, and that's why we've got a great staff here this year that are going to, work both on and off the pitch to sort of measure load. We've got Amy coming in, physio with real, great pedigree behind her. So we've got to really ultimately speak with the players. That's important. Communication is often the easiest way to know, but also manage the loads, whether that's through GPS data, what we're doing to, check that they're not doing too much on the pitch. So then, because at the end of the day, we want to get the balance right. You can't go and do a really high intensity pitch session and then me expect the lads and ladies to come in here and beast them as such in the gym and expect high standards and quality. That's not going to happen. So we've got to make sure we get that correct balance. In terms of injury stuff, there's lots of stuff we'll be working on. Ideally, more than 3 times a week, I would say we'll be trying to have pre-activation sessions, working on isometrics, jumps, plyometrics, ankle stiffness, all things that can lead to prevent an injury, because ultimately everybody in this process wants to be out on the pitch, and that's where we're going to get the best results. So if possible, we'll have as little as we can on the treatment table.
So coming back to you and like yourself as a player, was there anything that inspired you to get into strength and conditioning as a coach, or was it kind of just something that you'd always thought about?
So yeah, I think, like I say, when I went into Derby initially, and there was lots of things I could improve on. I always remember Luke Jenkinson, my S&C coach at the time at Derby, who's now out in America working with all the top teams. You know, one of the best I've worked under, and he kind of explained to me, because my size being so big, I was coming from non-league. I'm 6'6" or whatever. I never really had to jump to head the ball because I was often bigger than everyone. So I didn't really have the capabilities to jump initially. So there was lots of work that went into my power and my spring to create that side. So seeing things like that, how it can adapt and then only make you better, was something that really opened my eyes to what I wanted to do.
Okay. So, as a player, just run us through, like, what's your standard pre-game routine? Like, what do you do to fully prepare yourself before a game? It could be anything from activation, band work, to stretches, but what's your go-to before any sort of game?
Yeah, I think nutrition-wise, I would always carb up the night before, so I'd always have a big meal the night before, make sure I'm full. In the morning of the game, I don't really like to eat a huge amount. I like to get all that nutrition in before, so I'm feeling kind of light, so I won't go huge proteins in the morning, something light and carb full. Then, yeah, I always get there at the ground early, an hour or so early. I'm quite busy like that, so I'll go and have a stretch, a foam roll, things like that. But yeah, a lot of it's mentally focusing as well, and preparing yourself for the task ahead.
So speaking about like the mental well-being as well, do you hope to kind of get somewhat close to the players when they come here to kind of not just help them physically but a little bit mentally as well, and act as somewhat of like a mentor to them? Definitely.
I think having been in full-time environments myself, I think, although I don't think that's the case here, because I think the coaches are so open and easy to go and speak to, it is sometimes hard to speak to the playing staff, because there can be all these situations, whether you're not playing or you're not doing well, so I think the medical staff and people behind the scenes almost are a good way to build relationships. Yeah, and I think you actually do get the best out of players personally. I think you can build levels of trust and hopefully speak to them. Ultimately I want to find out what they're okay with, what they're enjoying, what they're struggling with, and just being there for them on a personal level to make sure they get the best. Yeah.
Perfect. And for anyone else that is wanting to go into S&C, is there something like a mistake that happened that you learned early on for you to get into S&C?
I think there's a lot of people out there that preach all different things. I think it's very easy to get misled information. I think there's lots of people that want, but I think they want to give information, but it's not always the right information. I think getting that knowledge behind, with knowing what's best for the athlete, I think is the best thing. Yeah.
No, perfect. So, just on a little close here, could you give us a little message just for everyone, all the lads, all the parents, anyone, just one piece of advice that you'd give them? It could be absolutely anything, but what would you like to tell them today to leave them with?
I would tell them that, one, the staff behind the scenes are all working really hard to plan and organise the best possible start for their pre-season, and we can't wait to start personally. I would say to work hard. I think that's the main thing. Have a good attitude to learn every day, and probably be prepared as well, because it's going to be tough at the start, like it should be. So, but in a good way. So.
No. Well, that's all from me.
Yeah, that's all from me.
Well, thank you very much, Max.
Pleasure.
It's been a pleasure.
Great speaking to both of you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.